Welcome back. Today is day 33 of Adventures in Drawing or Sculpting, which is turning into Adventures in Drawing. I should really change that title. On the streams, on the YouTube, it says Adventures in Drawing. And this is day 33 out of 365 days. I did not stream yesterday. But like I said, that's kind of like the last day where things were really busy and I wasn't sure if I would be able to. I thought I would because I was like, nah, this is going to be a boring night even though it's busy, so I'll probably just take some time away, which didn't end up happening because it wasn't as boring as I thought. So, there was no stream yesterday, but that was it. We should be back into normal scheduled um, streams. Their streams should also be a little bit longer than they have been going so far, which should be nice to everyone. And there's actually a couple of fun things going on today. So I finally watched the next set of videos in the how to draw playlists. The first video was really all about just information on what drawing is, where it come from, so like how it works with your brain essentially. So that's kind of like that was the fourth video because we're on the 4 videos of the 12 video playlist, and then the fifth video was the actual exercise. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that. But before we even get into there, I have some fun goodie things that I got. So I finally went to the hobby store and I got, these are 2 different pens. I haven't tried them out yet, so we're probably gonna do a longer warm up than normal and probably less drawing, just because I kind of want to get a feel for these 2 pens, see what one I want to actually draw with. So that's gonna be the first thing done before going on. I got a little journal sketch book because this is one of the videos in Sketchbook Skool, or one of the videos that Sketchbook Skool has put out on his YouTube channel was about your sketchbook and what you kind of use your sketchbook for. So I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting. Let's try it out. It's here. So that's kind of gonna be, I think, something that gets incorporated into the streams, as well as this is going to be something that I carry around with me as well. So I'm going to be drawing off stream, and this is kind of going to be where you see that. Today is not the day we're going to start this because I already had the other stuff planned, but this will be probably started tomorrow because I haven't really scheduled out tomorrow yet. So tomorrow will be the first day we use this. Then I also, not at the hobby store, but I did go to one of my favorite stores in the whole world, Barnes & Noble. Yes, I love Barnes & Noble because I absolutely love books. I love reading, everything this. So, and I got this book. Lessons in Classical Drawing by Juliet Artistes. And essential techniques from inside the atelier. I don't know what that is. I was looking at the book, and here I'll flip through it so you guys can kind of get. And it looks like kind of like that foundational stuff that I was looking into or wanting to know about. Like all that information is kind of in this book. I think it even has, trying to see, it doesn't really have what I was thinking. I thought it had, I thought it had the let's see that. I thought that it had like the actual like skeletal and muscular um stuff in it, like the sketches and diagrams and stuff of that, but it doesn't look like that's in this book. So I'm probably gonna have to go find some really detailed um pictures, because I don't want to buy a book just for the anatomical structures of humans and animals, because it would be like, that would be so many bucks. Let me check something. There might actually be. So this right here is like and also a really amazing book. I wanted to finish reading this book first before really getting into this one, but this is like a really, really, really highly recommended, really, really good book. I think this one might actually have the um what's it called, the structures, that the diagrams that I'm looking for. I think it actually has it in here. Let me check real quick. No, it doesn't. It's all about modeling. It has nothing to, doesn't really have the diagrams I'm looking for. It has a lot of modeling stuff. What about it? Oh, here we go. So, alright, so yeah, this book actually has it. So that's good. See, like, your muscular structure, the skeletal. Okay, so this one actually has those. So I might not even need. I think I am gonna try to get like the photographs and stuff and try to make my own diagrams instead of using the drawn ones in this book, even though they were very detailed and they looked really cool. I think I'm going to. Yeah, I get the photographed ones used in like anatomy classes and stuff like that. So I don't need to get a book on it though, because this has it. I thought so. Okay, sorry, got a little sidetracked, but that's okay. We're still doing good. So yeah, a lot of new fun things coming down the pipeline, which is gonna be really fun. And it really comes down to whether I have time to read it, because I still haven't gotten farther than the studio in the thing. So I did go and vote, and I was expecting to be there for. Oh, what happened? I clicked something. Wait. Okay, there we go. And I was expecting to be there for like a couple of hours, because you normally expect to be waiting in line. So I brought. Oh my goodness, what did I do here? Okay, nothing. I didn't do anything. It just moved. Okay, sorry about that. Um, yeah, so I was expecting to be in the line for for hours and hours and hours and hours. So I brought a book. So it's like, yep, this is gonna be great. Just gonna have some time to myself. And then I was the first one in the rush line. So I was the first one to show up before the rush. And I didn't go right away. I waited. I like ate lunch, and then I was gonna go, and apparently I ate my lunch fast or something because no, the long hour upon hour wait was after I showed up. So I didn't even get to read, which I was kind of looking forward to because I'm like, yay, I get to read some. So this is a nice pen. It literally picks up absolutely every movement of my hand. It doesn't have a lot of weight to it, which is really nice. Um, but it kind of has like that. I think it's kind of like a Sharpie almost feel, like a Sharpie or a marker. Definitely more like a Sharpie, as opposed to like what I'm used to with pens. It did say this one is a micropigment ink, Sacra color. It does say Pit Artist pen, so it don't need to know that part. Yeah, the Pit Artist pen, made in Germany, packaged in the USA. Superfine nib, black India ink, waterproof, permanent, archival, odorless. Odorless is good. So it definitely reminds me of more like a Sharpie, but it definitely allows for a little more movement. It is a darker, but it is a very thin line, which I kind of like. So that's nice. Give me a minute, please. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, what was I getting? Oh yeah, so it's a nice thin line, but yeah, it's a lot easier to move, so it definitely is picking up on my lack of a steady hand, but all in good time. All in good time. And yeah, so yesterday I did not stay up till 3 o'clock because I guess 3 o'clock was when like the race was called. But I did stay up until like 1 o'clock, and it was just because like I realized I didn't understand why I was so into the race until um I started talking about, because like someone was like, why are you like why are you watching this? It has, because the polls hadn't closed or anything like that. And like, what is this, like just the pregame? And I was like, no, this, they're like gonna go into all these numbers about like voter turnout and who showed up, like registered wise, minority wise, not minority, ethnicity wise, gender like all these things, right? Like party affiliation, and they like kind of look into that, because just because you're affiliated with a party doesn't mean you're gonna vote that way, but like it comes up with like it goes with numbers, statistics, and stuff like that, and then also like the percentage of the population. So I was saying all these things, and like, so you're literally just going into this for the data, and I was like, oh, that makes complete sense. I love data. That is so much fun. I think that's why I like buying all these books, because I don't think I need all of the, like, in order to draw, right? Like, it's not like you need to have all this background knowledge, right? It's just like, yeah, just draw. And then if you want to pick up, like, if you want to know a specific technique because there's something specific you want to draw, you can just look for it online, or like for it, or you can like look at reference books and stuff, where I have a very specific thing that I want to do, right? Like I'm just learning to draw specifically in order to sculpt. So there's a very specific thing that I'm looking at and to knowing how to draw, but I'm actually going through the fundamentals, the basics, and the knowledge thing for somebody who would pick up drawing for the sole purpose of drawing, right? Like, at least, right? And it's like, but that's because there's all these data points and all these things with it. Like, so I think I've talked about this before, but I absolutely enjoy math class, right? Math is, to me, is really, really fun, really cool. I also like, this was like the same for chemistry and physics and stuff, and that's because of like the theory. The the mathematical theories behind all the math problems, everything like that, is really, like, I find extremely interesting, really cool. Like it's like explodes your mind, right? So cool. Beyond that, when it gets to actually having to, solve mathematical equations and put mathematical equations into place, not so that I'm not so good at that part. But when it comes to the understanding of mathematical theory, and this is why we do this equation and why this equation works the way that it does, I'm like, that is amazing, that is awesome, that is so cool. And so I was able to understand calculus, but I couldn't complete the calculus problems, like the actual mathematical problems, because I would always lose a negative or like a number, or I'd swap the numbers or flip them, or yeah. So it was just like, okay, can't really go much further than that. And then same with physics, right? Like there's physical, oh, what's it called? I guess basically what Sheldon and Leonard are in the Big Bang Theory. Right, there's all these like theories and concepts and stuff behind the actual stuff, like figuring out the actual forces of, yeah, gravity is like this, and this is how you can figure out the velocity and acceleration of an object and stuff, depending on where it's dropped at what point. All these things, right? Same as chemistry, because chemistry all depends on what's affecting the chemical equation, what's a part of the chemical equation, everything like that. So it's, so I like, yeah, so I'm a data nerd, I guess. It's like, yeah, I just like having all this knowledge. And no, I don't remember anything about physics or calculus. It's been so long since I was in the calculus or physics or even chemistry classes. But it makes sense why during the election I was like, oh, look at these polling. Like, I loved listening to people talking about the polling numbers, the like the past history trends, the way that like the different paths a candidate, that's what they're called, candidates, could take in order to um, get the electoral votes that they would need in order to um, become the president. Sorry, I got confused. But then it's also cool, right? Because it's so the way it all works, right? Like, so, and again, this is me figuring this out for this year because for some reason I just decided to start listening to podcasters talking about how this is done. And they went into, like, even like just, so each state has like little districts, and these districts make up the decisions for the electoral vote, right? And the districts are basically I think they're based around like population and stuff like that. So what's really interesting, right, is the vast majority of a district could be, let's say, like blue, or like the vast majority of the state could be blue, but then like a couple of key districts that have a bigger population than the rest of the state is what actually decides the state, because that's where the majority of the population is. So that's kind of like the majority of what the state wants. It's an interesting way, and I'm like overly simplifying it because, as I said, this was kind of my first year of I find like just happening upon people talking about it, right? So it's pretty cool. So when I mean like happening upon, it's podcasts that I listen to that are technically political podcasts, but they talk about normally like social issues for the most part. But then when it comes to, oh, it's election time, they get really, really into the data of the election. So I had happened upon them because, hey, I like listening to different social issues and trends in society and stuff like that. So that's when I started listening to them, and then happy coincidence, they're political podcasts. So I got to learn a lot about the election and the way it works in a way that I had not learned before. Because the only thing I knew is like, yeah, go and vote. Like, okay. But there's actually a lot of cool things that go into it. And one of the podcasters used to be like a campaign person, not a campaign manager, just like worked on campaigns and stuff. So there's kind of like that insight on like kind of what goes into actually running a campaign. And it seems like it has to do with it really seems like money is like it's gonna be money, and then how you message the campaign. And so it's like money and marketing seems to be how campaigns are run and won. Again, oversimplification because I've never really looked into it before. So this was kind of like the first lecture where it's just like, oh, huh, this is cool. This is interesting. Look at all this data you can just play with. So that was pretty cool. Now it's over. Um, so we'll see kind of what happens now, I guess. Because I guess, so none of those numbers matter, right? So you go like a whole campaign season, stuff like that. And now it's like, okay, 4 more years before you get to like play with these numbers again. So it's like, okay, well, what other numbers can I now work with? But that's fine. I don't need to work with numbers really. Okay, so this pen is interesting. I do like it. It does work. It is nice. I want to try the other pen before I go on to the other shapes. But that was why I didn't stream yesterday. Because I was having too much fun with all these numbers. Alright, so I like this pen a lot more. It's a little bit thicker somehow. It doesn't pick up all. So this is a thicker pen. It doesn't pick up all the movements of my arm the way this one does. So I think this one's more for detail. This one's more for broader strokes. I could be completely wrong. And I might be completely wrong, but that's what this seems like. Like this is like you want to use smaller, tiny, more detailed stuff, and then this is the broader, overarching stuff. So I think this is the pen that's going to be used today. It doesn't flow as smoothly over the paper, though. I will say that. The other one kind of had a better, smoother paper. It's kind of a smoother track over the paper, I should say. So that's fine. That's cool. Okay, so what was basically being said today on the 2 videos that I watched, because way at the beginning, I said that I've watched the 4th and 5th video of Sketchbook Skool How to Draw a Playlist. I think it's, if I'm remembering, because it's been a while since I looked at the playlist in its entirety, I think there's 12 videos, and we are now on the assignment for video 5, because video 4 was kind of just doing a lot of background, getting a lot of background knowledge and kind of talking about what it is that you need to start doing and focusing on in terms of drawing, I guess is the best way to describe it. So basically what the 4th video was talking about is talking about how your left brain is predominantly used in everyday life. It's where you get the analytical analysis thinking, right? Like you're making your lists, you're doing numbers, you're making like all that stuff that you really use every day. The right brain is kind of, oh gosh, what did he say the right brain was? The right brain is basically what you use in drawing. That's pretty much what I got. It's kind of where like that's where you're gonna get your creativity. That's where you're gonna get like the details details in your drawing are gonna be coming from the right brain. Like how you view the object you want to draw is all from the right brain. So what is necessary to do is you need to make your left brain go asleep, is kind of how I'm viewing this. It's, hey, I don't want you working, so go to sleep. I don't need you right now. I need you to go, and then tell the right brain, hey, this is what we're doing. So it's kind of, and you do that through just boring the heck out of your left brain. At least that's the first trick that I'm learning. for the left brain. Say that thing that you don't want to focus on because it's not important in terms of the analytical structuring of the day, right? So, hey, I need to schedule these appointments. I know that the person coming towards me is my friend, or I'm not gonna like bump into this person, right? Like the really basic, you're like, hey, this is the shape of an apple. It's an apple. Let's move on, right? That's the left brain. Right brain is, oh, the sun is streaming from behind me. So my face is all covered in shadow while my hair is like shimmering in the sunlight, right? Or something like that. And that is what you want to capture and like focus on because that's boring to the left brain and really interesting to the right brain. So that gets the right brain to start coming out and be like, okay, I'm gonna take over. Left brain, go to sleep. So that's kind of some background stuff, right, onto how your brain draws. Then there was four, I don't want to call them principles, but there's four things. Yeah, they're principles. Four principles to drawing. Right? You got your shading, your negative space, your edges, the contour stuff that we've been working on. There was something else. Those are the ones I can remember right now. Obviously, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the video for the third time, but that's fine. And so that was video 4, right? Was just like all this background knowledge, and look, I need to go back there because there's knowledge that I still haven't learned. So for the assignment part, which ended up being video 5, I'm re how would I word this? I am not re-educating, reteaching. Okay, so the best way I can explain this is through soccer because that's the only thing I use that. That's the only thing I actually played that has some semblance of what hand-eye coordination is, except it was like hand-foot coordination. So like in soccer, when you're playing and you're dribbling the ball and you're like going to kick it and shoot it and stuff like that, you do not look at the ball, right? You look at where you want the ball to go. Same with drawing. You don't look at what you're drawing. You don't look at your drawing. You look at what you want to draw to like focus on all those fun lines and everything. So that's what the 5th assignment is. The 5th assignment, and we're probably gonna focus on this for I'm not sure how many days yet, but probably gonna be a good couple of days. I would venture to say we will probably be doing that for the rest of this week. Because the only thing I've ever done is look at my drawing. So I want to break the habit of looking down at the paper and instead create the habit of looking at the object I'm drawing. Yeah, this getting caught on the paper, and that's probably just because of the type of paper I'm drawing on. I have a feeling once I get back into the using the drawing paper that I have, which is really nice. It'll probably be a little bit, it won't catch as much. But yeah, this isn't that bad. This also has pretty light. I can grip it easily wherever I want to. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, what else is there to talk about? Oh, so for the sketchbook, because I didn't really talk about that, so the actual sketch journal thing video that I watched to basically be like, hey, this is like kind of a good idea, and this is kind of why you should have one, is because it's kind of like a artist's like journal, right? Where it's like, this is what I want to work on today. These are the instruments I want to use. Oh, I bought new instruments. Let's kind of see how those work and what I would want to use them for. Um, and different things like that. So it's kind of like writing, drawing, um, different ideas, concepts. You can like work on, if you're like working on like a technique, you can like kind of put that into the drawings, this book and stuff. And it's like supposed to be something where you just continue to fill them out and work with them. So I like that idea. I really think that would be fun to do because I think it would help me focus a little bit more on what I want this channel to end up being and stuff. And so it's kind of like building it, and like we're just all building it together. Because I was just using it as a way to get critique, advice, and accountability, mostly accountability. And it can kind of turn into maybe something that resembles an actual channel, which would be nice. So, oh, and I think the book also talked about, I'm not sure, but like lettering. So it's like, yeah, so I can actually work on my lettering in that sketchbook too. I can just work on everything, and then it can also hold all my diagrams and stuff that I need to draw. So I like the idea of having that sketchbook journal thing. So definitely going to work on that tomorrow as well. Oh my goodness, I've been doing this for 39 minutes and I haven't even like started on anything. Okay, let's do a couple of triangles, and then this shape I wanted to actually try is an easy shape. So that's good because, oh my goodness, I was not expecting to like get so caught up in just these pens, because I was trying to get a feel for them to see how they were. I wanted to see how they would how they would work with what it is that I wanted to draw today, as well as just how they um, drew on the type of paper I'm using, which is just old construction paper. I have no idea why my triangles are starting to look like fours. And I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm falling asleep. I am. Like I said, I've been up um watching the election for no reason other than, hey, look at all these fun numbers. Which it's okay. I'm sure other people were watching it for various other reasons. I wonder if that's why I like debates too. It's because, like, I mean, it's it's kind of like looking at a lab report, right? And I could be completely wrong. So if somebody actually understands debates and actually knows, like, no, this is kind of the art of debating, please let me know. But like, what, basically based on what I have seen and what I have experienced, it reminds me of a very simplified lab report, right? Because you have your, or not even a lab report, I guess more of like an argument paper, I guess would be more appropriate. Sorry, it's more appropriate to say it's like a essay, like a very simplified argumentative essay. Is that what they're called? Anyways, because you state the idea is stated, right? So let's say when the night sky is the absence of color. I feel like that's more like a hypothesis than an argument. Um, I'm coming up with more science things. What would it be? Oh, why are both of you up? Why didn't you get brought into the? No wonder why you guys are freaking out. Okay, well, this is gonna be fun. Sorry I got sidetracked. I have two companions I wasn't expecting to have. I was expecting them to be in bed by now, and they're probably wondering why I'm not in bed right now. So what would be a good topic? Um, let's say you shouldn't bury plastic in the ground, right? Because there's all these things coming out about how you can like start seedlings and like these little plastic thing containers, or you can like reuse plastic containers for seedlings, stuff like that. And it's like, should you actually be using these plastic containers for seedlings, right? Because plastic degrades and it has chemicals and stuff in them. And those plants, depending on the chemicals and how degraded it is, could potentially pick up the chemicals. Right. But then the other thing is like, well, it's a new plastic thing. You're reusing it. You're giving it a second purpose. So, right, two sides of an argument. Again, I just came up with something. I haven't done any research. I have no idea if what I just said is actually accurate. It's just something where I was like, well, observably, like I've seen plastic degrade, and I know plastic is made of a ton of chemicals. So this is just like observation and putting things together that may not correlate as an example. Um, right. And so, and then you're just trying to persuade a persuasive essay, I guess. And then you're just trying to persuade people to think about the point of view. And from what I've seen on debates, is kind of like that. Like, pretty cool because you can actually at that point, right, can extrapolate the different parts of the side of the topic and kind of create different, like you can do a lot with it, like because each of the different things that they bring up in support of or against the topic or just in different point of view of the topics, you can then extrapolate those facts and you can like create like different fact maps. I don't know what they're called, but different things. You can each point is like a data point and stuff. So it's like my brain can kind of like focus on that, and I think I overuse my left brain because I'm still talking about data. Alright, so the object I'm going to use, because I want something simple that will allow me to like stare at it for a while without really moving around um, on the paper, so I can like attempt to not look at the paper for a bit, is going to be this light ring stand that I'm currently not using nor need to use at the moment. So this is what I want to draw. So this is what I'm going to be looking at while I'm drawing, because I don't have to take my pen off the paper. Nice. Oops. Alright, so I think, so for this side, until I got to here, I hadn't looked at the paper, and then I was starting to look at it, and I think I looked at it a lot more than I should have. Oops. Let me try that again. Let's see. That was actually, because that was a little more difficult not looking at it than I thought it was going to be. Just because I had to like do the other side, and I was just like, uh-oh. Okay, so I'm gonna try like a minier version, I guess. Yeah, so really, this was me really not looking at it, but that's fine. That that wasn't that bad. That was kind of cool. That was fun. Alright, let's just do one on this side and like, yeah, because I don't want to fix it up Let's just try it out again. That's pretty fun. So this is called blind contour drawing. Hey, not bad. That was actually not as bad. So it's pretty fun. I'm glad I went with something simple because, man, that would have been so much harder to do if I had to do more. And it was more involved. And I was gonna use the tangrams again, so I'm kind of glad I didn't. Because that would have made me end up doing a shape that was not familiar with at all, and then like the deceptively difficult shapes that I was running into last week. So I am very happy that that was not the case this time, and I was able to keep my eye on the object more than on the paper. So that is fun. Yeah, I think so. I think we're gonna do this. I'm not obviously. I'm gonna progress to like a little more complicated stuff. I just got really distracted with the pens and getting through the information, and apparently I really liked drawing lines today. That's what today was, lines. That's okay. Um, so in the description below, there are not. I don't know if I've been able to make the links. I don't think the links are popping up, but the URL is there for the videos, and I'll also have um the name of the YouTube channel, Sketchbook Skool. So if you want to go check out those videos on how to draw, it'll be right in the description. Um, but other than that, there's not much more to do because I did everything. So like I said, we'll start the journal tomorrow, and yes, we'll go through the journal every day too if I end up drawing outside of the streams, because this is something that I'm gonna try to keep with me, so when I do have a minute to draw, I can just sit and doodle or sketch and stuff like that. So that'll be kind of cool to see what this becomes and what happens to it, and then it'll also kind of serve as well, like the progression of this project that I'm trying to do, even though I'm starting this at day 33, whatever. Not much really has been going on, I guess. So it'll be fun, and then also like the different tidbits that I've been learning with the books, I can put in here and stuff like that instead of just verbatim from memory trying to explain it. And then also from the videos, like the difference between the left brain and the right brain. I can remember the left brain, but not so much the right brain, other than the right brain's what you use to draw. So that'll also be helpful. So I can like jot notes and stuff down here and work on like different lettering and stuff. So, well, sorry about that. That was me rambling. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I will be back tomorrow for day 34 and more blind contour drawing. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you back here next time. Bye.